Startups majorly look for projects. They won't care about your college or even your DSA skills, at least the small startups. And in my experience, at least, they are very good product-based companies. Honestly, there's so much to learn there. So maybe you can create a list of some startups. You can go to AngelList or Y Combinator, basically those websites where startups list themselves, and many of them are good funded also. And then see all the employees working there. Maybe reach out to CTO or even CEO in some cases. Directly just message them on LinkedIn that hey, I'm interested in working, and just give a brief idea of the project section that I have worked on this, created this, so on. So that's how you can reach out to the startup. Hi Vishal, how are you?
I'm good, good, good.
Great to hear. We can start. Maybe you can talk about yourself first, like maybe your background, your
Yeah, let
context.
me introduce myself first. So, my name is Vishal Pathak. I'm a final year computer science BTech student from Vikrant University. Not Vikrant University properly, it's an RGP university, and there's a tier 4 college in Gwalior. So, I'm doing my BTech from there. Currently
Great.
preparing for my off campus placement. So, I just need some help in that, how I can apply efficiently so that I can increase my chances of calls.
So have you already tried with applying to various company, or what approach you are taking right now?
Actually, the problem is I never have that guidance or somewhere who can mentor me. So I realized very late in that I have to do DSA and apply and this and that, and my college does not provide any facility of like internship. And so I realized in my late third year, and now I have projects, but currently I'm applying. So I do not have any internship experience for now, but I'm currently applying for internships and all, even for placements, because my college will end up in August
Okay.
this year. So I have somewhere around 4 to 5 months, so I can join any internship or either apply for placements.
And any specific guidance you need, or in general, just go about how to?
There are three things that I think I need guidance. First of all, is my resume. Like, is it better, or do you think I need to improve it? Can I
Yeah,
share it?
definitely. So do you have any preference of whether you want to work in a startup or in a big company, or you are okay with like starting anyways and then?
Okay, so I'm okay with the medium cap or startup. But if I'm joining a company, then I'll choose either it can be a product based company or it can be a startup, not a service based company.
Yeah, makes sense. I think one thing which like I can see right now in your resumes, since you are a fresher, it's generally good
Hmm.
to put the education section on the top. And as you gain experience, you can put the work experience section on the top. But right now, since you're a
Okay.
fresher, you can put the education on the top and then go over to projects, then technical skills, and then achievements. Because your education kind of sets the context of your background and whether you're fresher or experienced, and then projects give you the actual skills. Even if someone reads the technical skills section later, they can see that okay, you have created a distributed file system and you have worked with these all technologies. And it's nice you have already added the links as well. One quick question. So these all are individual projects or group projects?
No, no, these all are individual products that I've made.
I think how you can start with applying to other different companies is startups majorly look for projects. They won't care about your college or even your DSA skills, at least the small startups. And in my experience, at least, they are very good product-based companies. Honestly, there's so much to learn there. So maybe you can create a list of some startups. You can go to AngelList or Y Combinator, basically those websites where startups list themselves, and many of them are good funded also.
Hmm.
And then see all the employees working there. Maybe reach out to CTO or even CEO in some cases. Directly just message them on LinkedIn that hey, I'm interested in working, and just give a brief idea of the project section that I have worked on this, created this, and so on. So that's how you can reach on to the startups. Because for bigger
Hmm.
companies, you will definitely need to clear the DSA rounds. And what is your experience with DSA and CP in general?
DSA have solved somewhere around 100 and 150 questions on Lead Code and other platform. So
Okay.
Yes, I'm not very good with it, but yeah, I can solve a good amount of
Got it.
problems there.
So on Geeks for Geeks, and I think on interview bit as well, you can see the questions according to the companies. Like maybe you can read some of the articles written by people who have given those interviews, like what exactly questions were asked. So in that case, you can judge how much more preparation you need and where do you currently stand. And once you do that, I think for bigger companies, projects don't really matter a lot, honestly, as a fresher. So once
Mm-hmm.
you have your DSA profile on whichever platform you want, it can be Lead Code, Codeforces, whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
in this case, I would suggest you to reach out to again individual members working in the company and ask them for a referral. Without referral, it would be very difficult to go if the companies don't come in your campus.
Actually, I was applying for some internship role that are open in Amazon, and I think a message somewhere around 100 employees, but none of them are replying. Can you suggest any improvements in my resume, for example, on my projects or something which is missing? Like my projects are good enough to be referred on.
I think that's the problem in bigger companies. Barely anyone would look at your projects. So even if someone reach out to me for referral, the first thing I check is what is their DSA experience. Because if you are not able to clear the DSA round, the project is literally in the last round only. You won't even able to get in
Okay.
that round. So that's one criteria where startups and bigger companies will differentiate. And since you have good projects, I think it might be easier for you to go to startup route or otherwise
Mhm.
also spend a decent amount on making sure your DSA skills are good.
Should I mention my DSS skills on my resume? Like I've solved some
Yes.
X amount of questions, or
If you have like
okay.
number of questions or if you have any rating or that, that's also good if you can mention. And also whenever you message someone in LinkedIn, in the message itself also mention that I have done these many questions and this is my rating. So they don't even have to open it. And one more small question.
Yeah.
So generally, like you said, you applied to Amazon. So you
Uh,
applied and then reached out to people, right?
no, I applied for a different role. There was three internship opportunities that are open there. So I applied for one and asked for two for referral.
I mean, in most cases, when they hire for intern, at least Amazon, I am assuming they would be looking for
Mhm.
third year students at the moment. Did you check that?
So there was a requirement. The requirement was my college should have ended after the 10th month of
Okay,
this year. So that was I was eligible because my college will end up in 12th month. I,
got it.
my college will end up in December.
And one more small tip. So, what happens in
Uh,
general whenever, like, if someone reach out to me for referral, I will check if they're eligible for referral or not. And if you have
okay.
applied in the last 6 months or 12 months, depends on the company, in any job at all,
Mhm.
you are not actually eligible to get a referral for any other job.
Okay, so if I apply, for example, an internship
Yes.
in Amazon, okay, then I'll ask you for a referral for another role in that company.
Yeah, that
So will it
won't
not
work.
be eligible?
Referral is about getting the data of a candidate. The job does not matter.
Okay.
So once they get your data in their system,
Huh?
then it won't
Hmm.
make sense for you to reach out to any other person for any other job in that company for a period, 6 months or
Okay.
12 months. I mean, there can be cases where
Right.
you have actually worked very close with that person and that person knows you personally, so they can reach out to HR saying. But keeping those cases aside, in general, in bigger companies,
Hmm.
referral will only work if you have not applied to that company in the last 6 months. So yeah, that's one thing you should be careful about in future.
I think I'm not getting any referral now.
No, it's fine. Honestly, like if I tell you my experience, I had a Uber offer, but genuinely I was curious whether should I join Uber or I had a separate. If you can look at my experience, I was literally evaluating to join a startup because the work there was
Oh,
very, very good. So it's not like you have to join a bigger company, honestly. Startups pay decent and also the work is very good for the learning opportunity in your initial years.
yeah, it is true actually. In startup, I think if you are good in development, I think startup will be
Yeah.
a more easy path. So I think I should look for that because I think my focus is more on development. DSA I don't and that much. I do, but it's not my primary goal. My primary thing I do in the morning is opening up and seeing some projects, sometimes freshing up my development skills. And I am a curious person, so I try to explore different things. For example, the projects I've made is because of the curiosity. I had a competition in my college, so they was making e-commerce backend. So e-commerce backend, and at that time I don't know about microservices, how things work and all. So I checked out how microservices works and all. At that time I don't know what is a API
Hmm.
gateway that I mentioned in my project. Nothing. So then we think if we go on that well, we have to put authentication on each service
Yes.
differently. So for and then I thought, no, let's research about it, because I don't think so this will work, that each service will have
Hmm.
authentication system and now each service will authenticate your request. So then I know about, okay, you can do it by creating a centralized server which will do authentication for every request. So at that time I've created that distributed file storage also. I've created out of curiosity. So I think I have one edge which I think work for me, is that all my projects are out of my thinking. I've never went to AI. Okay,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
me some projects I'll make. No. I'll think about some problems and then I see, okay, now what I can create. For example, the distributed file storage system is mentioned very shortly. I have created the entire system from end to end. Even I made the algorithm. How will I save my IDs and all, everything geolocation wise. So yeah, that's kind of thing. If someone ask me in the interview, okay, these are your projects, why you made it, how things work. So that's the thing will go in my
Yeah. I think
favor, I
this is a
think.
very good quality, honestly. Like even in my case, I didn't do any courses or some standard projects. Whatever I thought, okay, why is this not like why do we not have this kind of website or this kind of app? I just went ahead on building that. This is a very good quality, but like you said, it will be much better if you go to the startup route in that
Startup.
case.
Yeah.
And honestly, like starting salary won't really matter. So I will give you an example. There's one person in my team around, I guess, 3 or 4 years of experience, and that person
Hmm.
started with 10 or 20,000 per month, and he's a L4 in Uber now. And I mean, you can search for the salary range, but
Yeah, I know.
I'm just
I
telling you
have
that
some friends.
initially the focus should be because a career is like 30, 40 years long marathon. So focus on joining a company where you can learn. Either you learn or you earn. So make sure you are doing one thing.
So I think I should focus more on startup, because I think I can work with startup
Yeah,
very well
yeah,
rather than being on a
yeah.
big company solving errors. So yeah, one more thing, if you could suggest some startup for, because I'm not very active on this startup kind of thing. I know very big product based companies, but I'm not aware about startups that are really, you know.
Don't have a lot of names on my mind right now, but yeah, you can go to these two websites to check a list of startups and then see.
One is Angel
Yeah,
List.
I think they got renamed to Well Found or something like that. But if you Google it,
Yeah,
you will
yeah,
find
yeah,
it.
I know.
And second is Y
And
Combinator.
Y
Y Combinator
Combinator.
funds the startup, so you can check the list of startups they have funded.
Last question
Yeah, yeah.
I'll ask. For freshers, do they expect system design also?
In startups,
Like in startup and in both scenarios? Because I don't
I
think
think
so.
bigger companies won't expect you to know system design. Startup might, but I also think that the term system design is kind of misused these days. If you have actually created the systems in your
Hmm.
projects, you kind of know the system design, even if you don't know the fancy terms.
Yeah.
So startups
Yes.
focus more on your understanding because they have the bandwidth to hire these people. Since bigger companies need a standard
Hmm.
process, they just focus on DSA and stuff like that. But since you have created actual projects, that's the system you have created, so you know the system design. You don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to
I
actually go
know.
and study.
But I think I can be very good with high level design, but low level design is, I think, I'm kind of don't
I
know
think
about
low level
that
design
much.
is
And
mostly
like
just execution, right?
I'm familiar with OOPS concept, and that's all. But if someone will say me design a parking lot system, I won't be able to do that. I don't know
I
about
don't
low level
think
design for now.
that happens when, in case of at least startup hiring. So I'm not as a FTE, but as a part-time or intern, I applied to a lot of any startups, and in most of the cases, what they do is first give you an assignment, which might take you 1 to 3 days or something like that. If you are able to do that, That's all. That's the system design they need. So which can be depending on what job you are applying. So it can be they give you a Figma and then expect you to create a like at least a front end of a web app. If you are
Hmm.
applying for a blockchain, they might give you a very basic functionality that okay, do this and then deploy it. So things like that. If you can do that, it should be good enough. But if you really want, you can maybe just go to YouTube and spend a few days going through literally any
Yeah.
playlist.
Are you currently working on backend or frontend?
Both actually.
Oh, full
Yeah.
stack. I prefer backend than frontend. Frontend is kind of confusing for me.
Like honestly, like if you think it's confusing, is it? I mean, maybe you have not put enough effort into actually learning the concepts. Maybe,
Yes, you are right.
and
You
you
are
should
right.
use your
I
curiosity to
have
learn
very
it.
big problem. I have very big problem with designing. I cannot design, or I cannot write the tailwind classes because I'm very bad at it. I know the meaning of margin and everything, but I can't think about it making a design or even copying a design from anywhere because I don't think that I spend much time learning about these
I was
things.
very,
Even if someone will say make this page just responsive, I would be no nothing.
I can replicate the design, but I can't create it.
I cannot even replicate. But in backend, I can design from, for example, I have created somewhere around 7 to 8 projects around backend system. So I think I have that confidence. Ki, okay, if there is a backend design or something in backend, I will be able to do it. But in front end, I still remember I had a assignment for just creating a referral page, and I was really a nightmare for me. I have used Bolt, I've used V0, I've used one more AI tool just to create one page, that one referral page. But in backend, I created the entire thing in like 15 or 20 minutes.
I think now that you have some experience in backend, you can also start investing in front end to get some idea. Because, see, if you're joining startup and forget about startup, even at Uber, many engineers are expected to be full stack. So
Full
maybe
stack.
not the best front end engineer, but still able to do some front end work.
Yeah, I should make a front end for my distributed file storage and other things.
I think how you can see is whatever you don't know, you should create a project out of it. If I give you my example, I didn't know React Native. So I chose, okay, I will build this
Okay.
app, which will be a mobile app, and in the process, I will learn it. So if you don't know front end, like you said, you can pick up a action item to design a front end for the backend projects you have already created.
The issue is I can do front end, I can make pages, but the only issue is in designing, writing tailwind classes and making them responsive. I can work with React.
Yeah.
I've created many projects with React. Even with native, I have created one project. But I'm not good with writing classes, and I cannot adjust or you can
But
understand
honestly, you
if
will
you
have
are
to
working
do
with
it
front
today
end.
or tomorrow. Like,
Yeah, I have to do it.
especially if you have a 3, 4 years of experience, it's okay if you are only back-end focused. But since you are a fresher, you should have a like basic understanding and you should be able to create responsive pages, for example. From a design aesthetic point of view, like you can use bad colors, it's okay. I remember I created a website in college, used
Mhm.
random pink colors, and my college friends were like, this is looking really bad. But it was responsive, and the theming part, I don't know what things look good, but if I give you some Figma
Mhm.
design, you should be able to create a website out of it which is responsive.
I think I should
Yeah.
focus on that. Any other thing you think I should improve so that it would be good for me to apply in either cases, in big companies or, for example, Uber, or in startup, for example, Blinkit or Zomato?
One thing just to highlight, don't consider like companies like
Hmm.
Zomato as startup.
They are listed. Okay, they are
Yeah.
not. They are. I don't think so. They are
I
startup.
mean, Zomato
Yeah.
is pretty big company now, so just flagging that. I think major points are that only if you have any thought of applying to bigger companies, make sure you are very good in DSA and also mention it on your resume. Provide links to your lead code profile or whichever website generally you use. Second, for startups, you continue with the projects you are creating. Make sure you do some front end at
Okay.
least. If someone asks you to do it, you shouldn't give this as an excuse that okay,
Yeah, I
you can't.
cannot.
That shouldn't be the case. Maximum, you should say that okay, I don't know right now, but I will Google it and I will find it out and deliver it. That should be
That's
the case. And then go over to the websites I mentioned to find the list of startups and then start messaging.
one last question I'll ask. Okay,
Yeah,
do Uber hire freshers
yeah, yeah,
off campus?
yeah, yeah. Even interns. So I have a friend who reached out to someone for a referral for internship, and now
The internship they'll be hiring for third year student.
Yeah, but even for FT, they hire off campus. But yeah, the DSA round is a very important requirement.
DSA round is a kind of tough because I've reached out some of the employee of Uber on LinkedIn, and they were saying no, 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 Uber don't hire freshers. You have to come with experience.
I think whenever you are reaching out to bigger company, make sure you are able to find an actual job link on their career website.
So there was a guy I don't know. He was a good friend of mine, and he is working in Uber now. He have a very big ego just because he is working in Uber. So I asked him that do Uber hire freshers? So he said no, 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 no. Uber don't hire freshers, and they just only rely on experienced applicants. So I was like,
I think the hiring is less for freshers, but definitely they do hire. I mean, I have taken interviews, so yeah, they do hire.
so can you tell me the timeline where they usually hire?
Not sure about the timeline. You will have to check like every month or so. But yeah, the competition is very high for freshers hiring because pretty much every resume is same, so it's difficult for the HR to filter out. That's one issue.
And even I don't have an internship experience.
I
That's
think
something.
going by a startup route is very much underrated, honestly. Like big companies are not that good.
It's like you have a tag, no? When you say you are working in Amazon, Microsoft, Flipkart, or Uber or something, people know these companies. That okay, we buy something from Amazon. Now, if I say I work in, for example, Atlassian is a very big company.
Yeah.
It's a product-based company. Still, if you say I worked in Atlassian, people who don't know about it will never get to know about it. Okay, what Atlassian do? If you say as a technical perspective, Atlassian is one of the best company. If you search for, they pay a lot.
Yeah, in this I agree. I mean, people who are not in tech or like your relatives, they won't understand.
Some of my relative in TCS, so this is the image that okay, TCS is a very big company, but I know TCS is what TCS
Yeah,
do.
yeah. This pain even I have to handle. Like, I am not able to justify to my own family that Uber is better than, let's say, TCS.
Yeah. This is the issue that why Uber has a software engineer. They are a taxi company.
Yeah, yeah.
What they will do for software engineers, and even some people think that okay, Ola is also about hiring drivers.
I think keeping aside these so-called relatives, and as far as career is concerned, you can definitely have an amazing career even if you start as a startup. Honestly, like many people who I see today who are doing great in bigger companies, if you check their roots, they started at some startup because
They've
that's how they
started
were able
from.
to learn so much in very short time.
One more thing, do you do open source contributions or not?
Not now. I used to do a little bit during college, but yeah, was not able to do a lot.
So there's a GSOC
Yeah, yeah.
24 March. They have announced some organization. I have checked out. There were some projects that I think I can work on, but I don't know because like, have you applied in GSOC?
I tried when I was in, I guess, first or second year and was not selected. And from the next year, I
Yeah,
didn't apply. I was doing other internships. But keeping GSOC aside,
I think
if
I can.
you are comfortable with some projects and want to contribute because you're interested, you can anyways do that. And that will again be a plus point on your profile.
Yeah, I like more remote job on a startup rather than working in office from a XYZ big company, even in Google or somewhere. If I can find a job in startup and it will be a remote job, I'll be good enough. I don't
Are you
feel that.
staying right now?
I'm
Oh,
currently staying in Gwalior.
yeah.
It's in Madhya Pradesh, North India. Is it really hard to get a referral, or how referrals work? For example, if you're referring me, there are two ways. Either there can be, I don't know about referral. Either there can be you going to your HR and handing over the resume. This is a candidate, and I want to refer this. Or
In all the big companies, they have an internal tool for referring, where they upload all the details. That tool will tell us that whether you have applied for a job or
okay,
not in the last 6 months. Because if you know, all the companies have a referral bonus. Employees will only get the bonus if you have not already applied.
okay,
So unless again some you have worked with someone very well and they actually
okay,
know you pretty much, it's very less chance they will refer you if you have already applied. And this HR thing that works, people can
okay,
actually go to HR or hiring manager or whatever, but it's mostly if you're on a senior position, like you are not a fresher first, and second, the person you are asking for a referral is also on a senior position to have that say that okay, hire this person.
And do you
Uh,
think is it easy to get a job from referral? For example, if I'm applying from portal, you have seen my resume, okay? So do you think there is chances of me getting the job?
Honestly, for fresher positions, what I have seen is there's barely any chance if you don't apply via referral.
Okay.
Because pretty much everyone nowadays somehow gets a
Yeah.
referral. And that's why even the job which comes on a career portal, if it's for fresher, it literally gets closed within like 2, 3 days because they get like 20, 30,000 of
Yeah.
applications. And if 10,000 of them are referrals, they will find someone from that 10,000 only.
Even in the referral, there is so much competition. I think there should be a filter
Yeah,
out in the referral. Like, for example, if even if you are applying through referral, you are not guaranteed that you will get a call.
true.
Do you think there is any other improvement I should make in my resume to get, it can be easy for a HR to select me? What are the key things that they look for? For example, in projects, I think my projects are good. If they are filtering out on the basis of project, I should be selected.
Like there are two things. First, what you can do, and second, what you can't do about. First, obviously, if I'm HR and since most fresher resumes are same, I would have a tendency to select someone who is already, let's say, have worked at other big companies. So if I'm a Google HR, I might prefer someone who have worked in Amazon as an intern. That's one thing. But you can't do anything about it, so there's no point discussing that. You have to see things which you can improve now. And for big companies, that is only one thing, which is your DSA skills. Because even if you ask for referral, the first thing people will look at is if you have the DSA skills or not, because they won't get anything after referring you if they know that you won't be able to clear the DSA round. So for big companies, that's the one deal breaker kind of thing which you can actually do now. Like irrespective of whether you apply as a fresher or after 1 year or after 2 years, like even with 2, 3 years of experience, DSA is must for big companies.
So yeah, I think I should focus more on DSA.
Like maybe you won't get it as a fresher, but like honestly, 1 year or 2 years does not really matter a lot. So maybe you will get it after a year, but even then the DSA skills will matter.
So DSA is mandatory, for example. It's like the deal breaker
Yeah,
thing.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, unless you are very senior enough, like 5 plus years of experience, then I don't know the process honestly to answer that.
so yeah, I
But
have
yeah,
to
for
focus
two, three
more
years
on
experience,
DSA. It's
DSA is
like
must.
I've solved questions, but I'm not a very big fan of solving questions. I think I'm more on development.
I think this approach is okay. Like since you're more into development, you can make your base on development. Start with the startup. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, and side by the side keep doing DSA. So if in future you want to switch, you have the skills, and you also by then will have the work experience in a
Yeah.
startup, and you will have much more skills. Honestly,
In startup, it's quite easy to grow, and in MNC, I think it takes.
I think you shouldn't say it easy, but it's fast.
It's fast to grow. Also, I
Yeah,
think if you are working in a startup in an early career, I think you are able to learn more about things because if
yeah,
there is a
yeah,
small team and everyone know that the other guy what is he doing, like even if I'm the making front end, I'll get to know about back end कि हाँ ठीक है ये बन रहा है ये बन रहा है फिर जो भी हो रहा है. In obviously in big companies this won't be happening because if you are doing
yeah.
a small task, you are limited to that small.
Like I have some friends who work in big companies, and when they were doing intern, they got the PPO, but their own mentor said that please reject that and join some startup because you are early in your career. And even now, when I talk to people who started their career in some startup, they have much more knowledge than people who started at big MNC.
I think so. There are two things that I need to work on. First is a bit of a front end, and second is
Yeah,
DSA.
I think in startup this is will be very important that you don't give
Yeah,
excuse for anything.
I cannot do the
If
front
they
end.
need front end work, they need. You can't say that okay, I am a backend
Yeah,
developer.
yeah, that's I think. So if I do these two things, I think I my chances of selection will be increased in both the scenarios. If I do DSA in big company, then also front end is required. Yeah.
But honestly, like since you will probably have some limit on LinkedIn messages or connections also, I guess focus more on messaging startup people because your chances there will be much more compared to the
Ah,
referral thing.
okay. Because obviously the big company guy are getting too much, and especially the engineering guy. Because people only,
I mean, when some
huh, people only message.
like when some job opening come, I get like 50 plus messages on my LinkedIn, and it's not even feasible for me to actually see all
Huh.
those. And by the time I actually respond to the last person, the job opening goes.
I think this is very tag based also, na, ki even a good company pays, for example, 1 lakh, and a startup is paying, for example, 1.5 lakh. People will choose the big company. They think they get learn more at big companies, but I think it should be reversed.
Yeah, I think it's not entirely true. It's actually changing, and people are choosing startups, to be
Yes, I
honest.
think nowadays people prefer startups because startups are paying good
Yeah.
also. For example, Rapido. When it started, it don't charge fees on platform. They don't have any platform fee and all. They used
Hmm.
to give everything to the drivers only. But after that, Uber has also like changed their strategy on that. I read it somewhere on Startup News or something. Their startup are doing
Yeah.
great job, I think.
I think at this point, even if they're not paying a lot, if you are getting a lot to learn, you should be okay with
At
joining.
that time, even if you are getting a job, it's a big thing, especially in this market currently.
Yeah, the market
Yeah,
scenario is
the
also not
recession
very
and
good these days.
obviously the layoffs. That's why I don't prefer a service-based company, not because of the recession or something. I think they are more of a traumatizing also because I have some cousins who are working on there and I know their situation.
I won't comment a lot, but yeah.
I know. If you are even having a wedding, you are not getting a holiday. So Narayan Murthy is doing a very good job, I think. By the way, thank you a
Thank
lot.
you.
I think थोड़ा सा मेरा भी perspective अभी change हुआ है उस चीज को लेके. Not because startup I used to prefer, but it's like कि more security की वजह से शायद वो big companies की तरफ ज्यादा वो होता है. लेकिन अभी तो खैर big companies में भी उतने security नहीं provide कर रहे वो लोग. और दूसरा पेइंग वाला फैक्टर रहता है मतलब लोग सोचते हैं कि स्टार्टअप उतना पे नहीं करेगा ऑब्वियसली बट स्टार्टअप पे इज गुड.
Me, I mean, I don't know if you get a startup which will pay a lot or not, but if you join any startup which is doing good work, I can guarantee that after 3 4 years you will be earning more. That's what I can say. And coming to the security aspects, I also don't really align much. So if you consider two people, one is working in a big company, not really doing anything. Once something like COVID comes, you will be the one who will be more secured because you have the skills and you can easily
Yeah.
switch. So technically, yes, their job loss will be less compared to yours, but even after your job loss, you will be very easily able to switch because you have the skills. So if you consider that, the security is actually more in your case if you're working in a startup.
One more thing, I think a startup has only in limited amount, so they don't have to do the layoff thing.
And also in my experience, like even if a startup has to do a layoff or something, there's a whole network of startups. So if they know that you are a good guy, they will refer you to
Yeah,
another startup.
that's for sure.
And if you get referred from a founder of a startup to another founder, you will pretty much directly go without any interview or any DS or whatever
Yeah,
wrong.
that's pretty sure.
So in a way, you are more secure.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I think I should focus on my development more, front end also, and I think I should apply on a startup side more. Than obviously because it's a lot of crowd going to big companies and just
Yeah.
because of the tag.
Maybe after a few years of experience, you can come, but it's very much overrated. That's all I can say.
One more thing, last thing,
Okay, sure.
last. What about DSA?
Yeah, yeah.
Do क्या कहते हैं DSA in big companies also? Do they ask a lot? Quite hard to crack a DSA round in big companies, or what is the difficulty level if you say?
Depends a lot on company actually.
Okay. Have
Like
you applied on campus or off campus?
in Uber,
Yeah.
yeah, it was on campus.
It's not your first company, is it?
I used to work in college part time at multiple startups, like four or five. But
Okay.
as a like full time, this is my first company.
This is your first job, and you have applied off camp through referral.
In Uber, it was on campus.
It was on campus. Okay.
Yes, but at least like from what I know in Uber, it's medium to hard. Like because I also take interviews, so I kind of know, but not sure about other companies like maybe Microsoft or Google.
Also, I think I like more open source work, so I think I can focus on that also
Yeah,
rather than just waiting for a big company to create some more.
yeah. Doing something is much better than just waiting and trying to
Yes,
join a big
obviously.
company.
I thought कि मैं ना अभी मेरा डेवलपमेंट हो गया है थोड़ा सा मतलब डेवलपमेंट अच्छा आता है तो आई शुड फोकस ऑन डीएसए और बाकी अभी जब भी कंपनी ओपनिंग करे निकालेगी तो मैं रेफरल ले लूंगा बट इट्स नॉट इजी.
I mean, it's purely just a matter of the population India has and the number of openings these companies have. Like,
Also, I think the platform like Topmate, for example, for you, okay, people who know you are on Topmate, okay, and there is a opening on Uber, you know how much call will you would you get, even if you put 1,000 rupees on per call, they will call you because they know कि यहाँ से रेफरल मिल जाएगा ऑब्वियसली, ठीक है, क्योंकि रेफरल के लिए मना तो कोई नहीं करता ना, ऑब्वियसली इट्स लाइक कि हाँ या तो तुम्हारा प्रोफाइल अच्छा नहीं है इसलिए रेफर नहीं करेगा, ठीक है, या फिर कोई और इशू हो सकता है, बाकी एम्प्लॉय ऑल्सो, एवरी एम्प्लॉय ऑल्सो वांट कि मैं भी रेफर कर दूं किसी को,
yeah,
ऑब्वियसली देयर बेनिफिट ऑल्सो, या, थैंक यू सो मच, आई डोंट हैव
bye,
एनी फर्दर क्वेश्चंस,
sure, bye.
थैंक यू, बाय बाय.